Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. It's 5:36 a.m. Central Standard Time, December 10th, 2019. Well, we have Heaven Hill, Kentucky blended whiskey. There's the Heaven Hill with the old placard looking sign, look like a general store placard sign with the Heaven Hill insignia on it. Now, other people can get the Heaven Hill green label straight bourbon, Heaven Hill black label straight bourbon, Heaven Hill white label, which I think is the bottle and bond. But we don't get anything but this. They're blended bourbon, blended wheat. There, it says Heaven Hill's #1 Kentucky blended whiskey. They put blended real small, but it's their best-selling. It's their best-selling Kentucky blended whiskey. And then there's a little sort of writing on it about Heaven. It uses sour mash Kentucky whiskey, age 36 months, 20% Kentucky straight whiskey. All right, and it says bottled by. Let me see what it says. I'm in the dark. Heaven Hill Distilling Company, Distilleries. Okay. Now, unfortunately, in the dark, I see you. Do 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 do. In the dark, in the dark, in the dark. But dawn is coming. Unfortunately, I have 1 liter of this thing. Clubhouse. Product of USA. Blended whiskey with natural flavors, and caramel color. Bottled by Kentucky Standard Distillers, Bardstown, Kentucky. Well, that's Heaven Hill. Oh, man. I have even worse news. The worst news is that after this taste challenge, I have, if you want to call it a challenge, I have 10 other blended whiskeys to go against this thing. I think it's going to lose every contest. How could it win? How could it win? Now you say, well, you buy all those cheap things. So yeah, it's true. Most of them are all right, but you can really run across some bad ones. Jack Cottrell, good morning, sir. Good morning to you, Jack. All right, so see, I only have a little bit left of the Heaven Hill. David and I used this for an infusion with the CBS, the Confederate Breakfast Stout, and he thought it enhanced it. I thought it did too, really. I thought the Old Crow enhanced the Guinness Foreign Extra Stout, but then I found Gibson's 12-year age, the Gibson's Finest Rare, and the Clan McGregor Scotch. It didn't seem to make any difference. Like, I mean, I'm sure it was more alcohol. Maybe if you'd have talked to me after I drunk the bottle, I mean, the glass, you might have said, hey, you've been drinking, you know what I mean? But as far as flavor, it was like nothing. Nothing was added. Didn't detract. Didn't make it worse. It just didn't add anything. So every time you do an infusion, it's not going to make a difference. Well, at least that's my experience. Twice it did, and twice it didn't. Okay, that's 50-50. Okay, I don't plan to do a lot of whiskey infusions of beer. I just did it because I had 4 Guinness Foreign Extra Stouts. I did one for Stout Sunday on Georgia Beer Reviews channel, John Illy's channel, and I figured, well, that sounded like an interesting, because David had got me, well, I thought of it, but then he got me thinking. Well, actually, he did, because he was saying, why do we buy all these expensive bourbon barrel beers when you could just add your own bourbon? So then I was thinking, yeah, would it work? It does work. Some of these bourbon barrel beers, you taste them and you wonder, where's the bourbon, where's the barrel, or like, where's the maple, right? So anyway, I remember about 4 years ago, I was saying they ought to make a Budweiser barrel aged, and they did, kind of. It's aged with barrel wood, but it's not aged in a barrel. That would be the real Budweiser barrel aged. Age it in a barrel, a wooden bourbon barrel, or it could be a rum barrel, whatever. But put it in a real barrel. You might have to charge more. You might be charging $5.50 a bottle for Budweiser. But that would be cool though, right? Budweiser, Myers is dark rum, that super thick dark rum, and you age Budweiser in that for 4 months. Imagine that. Might taste terrible. I don't know. Try it. They could test it. If it tastes bad, don't put it out. I poured too much of the badness. The Clubhouse gin, buy it. It's good. It's a little strange tasting. Like, I don't think gin's supposed to taste like lemon lime. Now you might say, oh yeah, they got that. I see all that at Walmart, Seagram's lemon lime. Yeah, but that's flavor with lemon lime flavors. The Clubhouse doesn't say that. It just tastes like it. Strange. The Clubhouse rum, the white rum, is really good. I mean, really good. Can stand up to Captain Morgan White, can stand up to Bacardi Superior. But this thing, I mean, here we getting almost like the camo world of beer. That camo black ice and that camo silver that I did, and the camo 4X. I mean, that was like, I couldn't drink those. I took some sips and I just said, I'm dumping it out. I don't feel like getting sick. I just knew I'm going to get sick. It's going to come back up. It's that bad. And the alcohol was 14% or whatever it was. I don't know, 11%, some sky high number. And I was like, I don't need this in my life. I did the video. I told people I hated it. It's trash, an atrocity of mankind. And I don't need to prove a point just by saying I drank the whole camo. Okay, no. Axe Head. That was another one. I was like, I can't drink this. I bought that up in Cicero, Illinois. I remember exactly what store, but I just said, I can't finish this. That's before I was doing video reviews. I wish I had done a recording, but I wrote a written thing. That one time I did do it, remember? With the Earthquake High Gravity 12%, which they no longer make, thank goodness. And I said, I could do this. I drank it all. But 3 hours later, that was bad. That was bad. So you got to know when to say when, like the TV commercials. You're drinking Super Brew 15, you take a few sips and you say, no more. I just say no more. I don't care if it's from Bucharest, Romania. I don't care where it's from. That's Ceausescu probably was serving that in December 1989. And that's what got him arrested, probably more than whatever he did to the people. They probably said, what are you giving us to drink? He said, oh, it's a new beer for the country Romania, for Romania. Hello. This is a new beer for Romania. Super Brew 15. And he was arrested and shot. Okay. And I did that boom and that bang from Czechia, Bohemia. Oh, from Prague. You say they make good stuff in Prague. They sure do. And they make really bad stuff. All right. Okay. No use mixing them up. I mean, there ain't no way you're going to get this confused. Golly gee, I'm trying to be so stingy on the Heaven Hill that I'm not getting it up to the right level. But there's no hope. There's no way I can do another taste challenge with it. That's it, Heaven Hill. You served your purpose. You've done well. Heaven Hill, I salute you. Okay. With reservations. Not a total salute. Okay. All right. So this one's more like a traditional cheap whiskey. It's golden. Do they add color in? I don't know. It's aged 3 years. Would it get this dark in a used barrel? Doubt it. They probably add color. And all these scotches, not all. I know somebody's gonna say they don't all do it. I know they don't all do it. All these Canadian blended with, they don't all do it. All these Irish blended with, but they don't all do it. Well, I mean, I'm speaking generally. They tend to add coloring. We were talking about Japanese whiskey, and we were saying those are rice based. You know, I like it. My friend David didn't like the rice based. And then a viewer said, well, they're not all made with rice. And he said some are made with pure barley. But we weren't speaking about every single one. We were just saying in general, we were using, maybe that was confusing where we were talking. We were using general terms, like they generally have that. You know what I'm saying? You say you were stereotyping. Exactly. Which is a heuristic, a shortcut for problem solving. You have to take an average. All right. Unless you get to know each Scotch and try every Scotch or every Japanese whiskey and thoroughly examine it over years each and then give an assessment. That's not possible. You can't do it. So you take an average. All right. But I made a video about stereotypes. It's a very good video. This is, yes, this does have a sour mash whiskey aroma, which means like the cornbread, the sourdough bagel, the strong corn, flour, cornmeal, corn grits, whatever they're using. I mean, they could be using corn syrup for all I know. As long as it's corn, they're going to say corn, you know, and the U.S. government's going to say, well, that's okay. You know, it's all subsidized. Okay. So it's got that. It kind of smells like, I can't say it smells like Heaven Hill straight bourbon because I ain't never had it. If I could think of a straight bourbon this reminds me of, I would say kind of a Old Crow type thing, but without the barrel char. You know, the Old Crow's going to have a lot more wood and char because they're using new barrels, whereas this is using used, so it lacks that. But it has that kind of thing. And then you get that weird water, honeydew melon undercurrent, which whiskey shouldn't have that. All right, now let's go to this. Yeah, you say, hey, ain't that dark? It's aged at least 4 years. So there's no age statement. So it's at least 4 years old. You said they spent 4 years to make this? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. $6.99 for a liter bottle of yuckiness. Oh, that aroma. Oh, that aroma. Oh, that aroma. I can't put my nose on it. I don't know what this is. Why is this like this? What's happening over here? This is some kind of lemon juice. I don't know what this is. I could boil artichokes and dip it in here for the, you know, like boil and take the artichoke leaves and dip it. This isn't right. And don't tell me that the bottle was spoiled or something tainted. I don't believe that. They're saying natural flavors. I mean, are they pranking the audience? Maybe they are. Maybe they're like pranking their own customers. It's like Heaven Hill saying, you want cheap? You got it. And now you're going to see what it's all about. This is what it's about. What about wood? Yeah. There is some kind of wood something in there. I'm thinking maybe they use oak extract, which I found they use in Triple Crown, a very expensive blended American whiskey. I would not pay $21.99 for that. But I didn't. I got it on sale. I got a half-size bottle for $3.99. Ha ha. Okay. Now let's do the tasting for what that's worth, which is basically worth less. Heaven Hill, it runs about $6.49 over here for a bottle. $6.49 for $7.50. Now over here we're looking at $6.99 for 1,000 milliliters, which is about 999 milliliters too much. Well, like I'm saying, there's no use doing it blind because you're never going to get it confused. It's so exotically strange. It's impossible. You could never get it confused unless you had never smelled whiskey before and you didn't know what anything smelled like. That could happen, but it ain't going to happen here. You think you're home? Well, let me tell you something, partner. You're not home, but that's where we're going to send you. That hair lips the governor. Um, yeah, it's just like standard whiskey, kind of inexpensive, kind of cheap. A little bit of that candy corn. Oh yeah, even some dried flowers and sourdough bread from the sour mash whiskey. It's not really presenting so much of that honeydew melon. This would be fine to do a mixed drink with. Like I see this at Circle K. This stuff in a big old jug bottles for like $13.99. Winn-Dixie has straight bourbon for $13.99 right now. Oh, $14.99. Straight bourbon whiskey, aged 3 years, for $14.99 at Winn-Dixie in the big 1,750 milliliter handle bottle. That is no joke. You say, but it's probably terrible. Oh, I doubt it's terrible. It's coming from Buffalo Trace. It's probably just ancient age put in a Winn-Dixie bottle. All right, because it's got so many things that are making me think that that's probably what it is. Ancient age in a Winn-Dixie bottle. I think that's what that is. So I'm not going to bother buying it. Plus, no one wants to watch me review Winn-Dixie beer. I mean, Winn-Dixie bourbon. And it's a sad looking little bottle with it's like the man with the buggy. He's got a horse and a buggy on the bottle. It's like, oh, the old South. This reminds you of the old South with big plastic bottles. No, not really. So that's fine. Would I recommend it? Well, like I was saying, people buy this when they get off of work at 6 a.m. and they go home unwinding from the night shift, and they might mix it with Delaware Punch, something like that, and watch reruns of Good Times. JJ, my man, you in trouble? Or they might watch The Wheel of Fortune. It's something like that. Wheel of Fortune. And they just be staring at the TV, not really thinking. They're just trying to calm down from work. Maybe they got aggravated at work or something. They tired. They dog tired. And this would be fine to mix with Delaware Punch, something like that. But this thing, I mean, what you gonna do with this? What are you going to do with this? Oh, maybe I'll get used to it and start liking it. That's actually happened with some rock bands. I used to hate them, like, oh, they're so terrible. They're trash. And then I was like, okay, I didn't get it. Now I get it. Now I'll go buy all their albums. All right. This is the third tasting, and maybe it's not as bad as the first two, which was so jarring and traumatic in a way. Traumatic. You say you acted out. They had to come to your house and give you an advisory. The cops were over. Hey, I couldn't help it. I had drank some of this, and I was so traumatized by the country club, I was acting out. That's my excuse. Somebody might say that. I don't know. I really don't know why you would want to drink a whiskey that tastes like it's got some kind of lemon lime added to it. What would be the purpose for that? So I'm missing something here. Like maybe some of y'all would like it because you might like flavored stuff. It's a flavored whiskey. Says it on the thing. Can you add flavor into whiskey? Yeah. I was reading the Tax and Trade Bureau website. It was like you can add up to 2% blending sherry. Maybe that's what it is. But it just said natural flavors. Doesn't say what kind. You can add flavor into Canadian whiskey, Scotch, Irish whiskey, American blended whiskey, blended bourbon. It's true, blended bourbon. You can add coloring and make it look darker. Things are not as pure as you believe. Man, maybe that's what it is. My mind has been so disordered trying to figure out what this is. You know, I've been so flummoxed, if you want to say, so cognitive dissonance. It's not really cognitive dissonance though, because I knew it was going to taste funky, or I assumed it would. So it's actually what I was expecting. It's more like cognitive disturbance. But now I think I'm getting an idea of what it could be. Maybe they're adding cocktail sherry to it. You say cocktail sherry, you've really gone off now. All right. I don't know if the blending sherry has to be a certain type of sherry or if it's just a sherry they use for blending. You hear what I'm saying? Like, is it some kind of commodity that these distilling companies have to buy and it's USDA approved blending sherry, or if it's just a sherry and they blend with it? You know what I mean? They don't explain that on the Tax and Trade Bureau website, Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau. They just say blending sherry. Now you can get the Fairbanks cocktail sherry. That one's pretty good. That one's pretty interesting. That's from E&J Gallo. That is an interesting product. It's a little unusual. This is a little unusual. Well, very unusual. So could there be such a thing as Christian Brothers blending cocktail sherry? Because you know who makes Christian Brothers sherry? You got it, Heaven Hill. I think I've got it now. That's the flavor. That's the flavor. You got to have pork. You got to have the pork. That's the flavor. That's it. It's blending sherry. Oh, yeah. Bizarre. So bizarre. So incredibly bizarre. I bet you, well, I don't bet because I'll lose maybe, but I think Heaven Hill has taken some extremely cheap straight bourbon whiskey that was off some kind of way, like it wasn't right, like Heaven Hill or Elijah Craig or Evan Williams, and they were like, oh man, this didn't age right. You know, we ain't dumping it. They don't, like William Kepley said, they ain't dumping nothing. All right, believe me, they ain't dumping an ounce. They might spill it on accident, but they ain't dumping it. And then they blend it with the grain neutral spirits, which aren't going to have any flavors or aromas generally. And then they're keeping 2% back of the volume, and they're adding cocktail sherry. Hell, if I didn't figure it out. That's what was throwing me off so bad. It's got to be that. Oh, wow, man. It's freaking me out. I think they're adding. So now that I know it's cocktail sherry, it's not freaking me out as much. You know what I mean? It's not discombobulating me as much. It's not disturbing me as much. Because sometimes when you know what the taste is, then you can kind of deal with it better. Okay. All right. Ha ha ha. All right. Still, I don't know if I'd want to drink that, whiskey with cocktail sherry. Okay. So yes, Sunday I dropped it to a D, but I think I'm going to go back to a C- again on this. It's marginally average. Now, could that go higher? Anything subject to change, y'all. It takes tastings and tastings and tastings to get a handle of these things. Like I tried Eagle Rare one time, and I posted the video yesterday. Well, it was very nice, and I enjoyed it, but I made watch later clicks on all these, must be 25, 30 videos about Eagle Rare. Now, it's going to be hard to relate to those because I just sipped a little, and I can't. What am I going to say on those videos? Oh, I tried it. I liked it. I tried it. I liked it. Oh, Eagle Rare. I think it's really good, but I don't have enough experience with it. I didn't really drink down a whole bottle and get to know it. But my initial impression of Eagle Rare 10-year age is very positive. My initial impression of Clubhouse was extremely hostile and negative. Extremely hostile. Could it change? I think it's changing a little bit. Now you say, oh yeah, by the 12th taste challenge, you could be praising it, huh? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Jack says they bamboozled you, but you figured them out. Actually, I think I did figure them out. I really think I figured it out. Caused a lot of stress, you know, within context, stress of a beer, a whiskey taste challenge, not true stress. So this kind of stress was actually eustress, good stress, because it's like exciting and you're learning about the product and you're getting all crazy about it. You know, so that's eustress. Eustress is stress that helps you do, that's good for you. Like it might motivate you to do a great painting or motivate you to finish college or something like that. Distress is stress that hurts you, could give you high blood pressure, put your health in danger, lead you to abuse drugs and alcohol. You see, that's distress. Okay, but I really do think I got it, Jack. Blending sherry. Haha, haven't heard you thought you had me fooled, but you're wrong. You're wrong. And I'll show you, still weird. I'll show you, I'll just keep buying more and more and more and more of your products. And I'll keep tasting them and I'll keep telling people what I think. I'll show you. Wait a minute. How am I showing them anything if I'm buying all their products? Whose laughs laugh? Who laughs? I'll say it right. Who laughs last? If I'm buying all their products and I'm showing them, those guys at Heaven Hill are saying, ha, 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 dumb, dumb. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's a mystery. It's an enigma. So that's it. It brings us to the close of another so-called taste challenge. So I guess when it came to the Clubhouse, I had the right ta-ta, but the wrong ho-ho.